verse, the intro, the main part, sounds like this. That's basically it. Those 4 chords you're going to repeat. And I'm playing a slight version that I'm going to show you there, a slightly different chord there, but you just loop those 4 chords. So the 4 chords for that part are first a D. So in your left hand you can play Ds. In your right hand you've got D, F sharp, A, another D if you can reach it. And then you move, your left hand moves up to an F sharp, but you're keeping that right hand where it is. So the second chord is a D over an F sharp. All you do is move your left hand up to those F sharps. So the first 2 chords. Okay, now the next chord is a G, and watch how I slide into it from the chord that I'm currently playing. The second chord, that D over F sharp, my left hand is just going to slide half steps into a G, and my right hand, the middle 2 parts are going to sort of switch down here. So this is going to move to a G, and this is going to move to a B. And I've got my G chord, which is the third chord. So I've got G's in my left hand, D, G, B, and D, if you can reach all that, in the right hand. And then the fourth chord is an A. So one way that you can do it, or you can play an A7 if you'd like. I play it like this. I sort of switch so that my left hand just keeps going up, plays those A's, octave A's, if you can reach both. Otherwise, one will do. And then your right hand, you're going to have E, A, and C sharp. Just want to get my fingers out of the way there. Okay, so the first 4 chords, the 4 chords to this part, D, D over an F sharp, into a G, and then into an A, or an A7 if you're feeling cheeky. Now you might have noticed that I played a little bit differently the second time I played it in the intro. That's because sometimes I play it, instead of playing an A for the last chord, I'll show you what I do. I play the first chord D, still the same, then D over an F sharp, just like before, and then G, and sometimes instead of playing an A, like I showed you the first time, I just moved my left hand up to A's and I leave the right hand where it is, so I basically play a G over an A. So in that case, if I were to play the chord progression like that, which I just like a little bit better, it still sounds like it, but it sounds a little cooler to me, it sounds like this. Cool. And the rhythm that I'm playing there that might be of interest to you if you're having trouble sort of getting the rhythmic feel right, you're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you notice I'm playing on the 1 and then the and 1 and 2 and the and after the 2. If you're counting like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, if you're counting your measures like that. If that's familiar to you, cool. That should help you. If not, either give it a shot. It's not too hard when you think about it, or just use your ear. Okay, so that's the intro and the verse block. That's like the main chunk. You've got this, I guess we'll call it the chorus. It's like sort of more like a pre-chorus, but you have this other part, which sounds like this. People fall in love in mysterious ways. I'll play through this block for you. Okay, and actually on that last word, thinking out loud, or whatever it goes into. So that that second block that I'm gonna show you starts with an E minor 7. So if you just find an E and you play every other white note up to this D, you've got it. You can play E's in your left hand. See, that's an E minor 7. Cool. You just skip every other white note. E minor 7. People fall in love in mysterious. You switch to an A7. So I'm bringing my left hand up to an A. You can play 2 if you'd like. And in the right hand, you get G, A, C sharp, and E. I know that's a lot of notes, but they're pretty close, so you should be able to play all of those, even if you have smaller hands. And you end that little phrase, I guess, with a D. I'm playing an inversion, so my left hand comes up and plays a D, or 2 if you'd like. And you play an A, a D, and an F sharp with your right hand. So the first three chords, once again, you've got E minor 7, A7, D. Now, the next piece of this block is the first two chords that I already showed you. So you've just got E minor 7 to A7. Cool, that's easy. E minor 7, A7, 2, 3, 4. Now you've got like the second half of this block, and that goes back to that E minor 7 to the A7. So you've got the first two chords again, the same. E minor 7, A7. Now, ooh, what was that? This time, instead of going to a D, I went to a B minor 7. So I'm going to a B with my left hand, or 2. And in my right hand, I'm playing A, D, and F sharp. Very similar to the first thing that we played. And then you end this loop with just another E minor 7 to A7. E minor 7 to A7. And the only thing is at the end, if when you go to that A7 to end this little block, you go E minor 7 into an A. And you kind of bounce and get louder, so you start quiet. Thinking out, right? Kind of to come out of that block, you sort of crescendo, bouncing on that A7. Thinking out. And you go back into that main block, the D, D over F sharp, G, A. Okay, now the only other thing you need to know is I think the best part of the song. It's this walk down part that sounds like this. Oh, sorry. I played the rhythms a little bit weird, but you'll recognize that part. Like that. Now, I'm going to write the chord progression above the keyboard that matches what I just played there. But I'm going to actually, instead of showing you just the chords that comprise that walk down, I'm going to show you exactly how I play it, because the way I'm what's called voicing the chords in my hands, the way I'm playing the exact arrangement of notes that comprise those chords, kind of matters if you want it to sound like the way I'm playing it. Okay? So it's kind of like this. The first chord is a D, and you've played a chord like this before in this song. But the key is that your left hand, what I really want you to think about is your left hand. So watch my left hand for this whole part. Ignore the right hand. I'm still going to play it, but just watch what the left hand does here, okay? I hope that's on the camera. I think it is. But it's a D down there. So it's just like a walk down. You're starting on D, and you go C sharp, B, A, G, A, D, to the lower D. Okay, so your left hand is doing that thing. Alright, now meanwhile, what I want you to think about is take a look at what my right hand is doing, but only look at this note. I'm just going to take the other notes, I'm just going to play whatever this note was doing, and watch how, so watch what they do. I'm going to play these two notes at the same time. I actually play it with these fingers, but just watch the notes for now. So they're kind of related. See, the distance between here, if I were to move this up an octave, so normally I'm playing it lower, but if I were to move it up, you could see that they're moving in a similar way. Until we get to here. Okay, now I just want to point that out because that helps me think about what's really moving. These notes stay the same for a large part of this, okay? So I'm going to show you the first two moves, and you're playing A's, if you can reach both those A's in your right hand on the outsides, and you're playing an F sharp with your forefinger, and your thumb is playing this D. And you're going to go play that chord, and then you're going to move this F sharp down to an E while the thumb moves down to a C sharp. Alright, that's the second chord in the walk down. The third chord, I'm going to jump everything up, and I'm going to reset. I'm resetting my whole hand so that my thumb and my pinky are playing in the right hand a G and a D, and you'll be playing a B in your left hand as well. So the next two chords, you've reset your hand, and now you're going to play two more chords. And the chords that you're playing, you're just moving the bottom two notes. So you're playing this B to an A, and you're moving this G to an F sharp. Okay? Now, you don't really need to reset. It'll feel like a little bit like a reset, but you're not really. You're going to like get your other fingers involved here. you're going to keep this left hand moving down to a G for the next chord. And the right hand, the pinky is still where it is, but you're also adding this D with your right thumb and this B with your 4. And you can even play the whole G chord. You can add this G in your right hand too if you want. I like to leave it empty because the left hand is playing it already. And then for the next chord, your left hand is going to move up to an A while you keep the right hand pretty much where it is. I add this G to give it a little bit more of that G, which comes missing once you move it up to the A. But you just basically leave that right hand where it is and move this up to an A. And then you finish that whole walk down on a D. So your right hand, the pinky stays where they are. You're going to play with your 2 finger an F sharp and an A, while this jumps down to a D. Hopefully that's on the camera, one of these guys. So let me show you all that. I know that's a lot, but once you get that walk down, it's the most fun part. It comes up like twice at single points throughout the song, and then the very end is that 3 times in a row. So it's a good thing to know. So let me show you again. And I'm playing it actually, well, I'll show you one more time. You're doing this walk down. You're going to reset. Now you're walking down with these 2. You got this G chord, G over an A, and kind of like quick to a D chord. So let me show you that one more time slowly. Walk down, reset. Excuse me, woo, sneezy. We'll keep walking down the bottom part. You're basically playing a G chord, a G over an A, and then quickly down to this D. So those are all the parts. I know that last part, the walk down, is the hardest part, but take your time, really, until you can play it smooth. Until you can play it smooth, you'll be happy you did because it sounds really pretty. That voicing, I think, opens it up. So that's the tutorial. I really hope it helped you. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.